the dentist, and I felt an experience. I felt an emotion. I experienced an emotion called fear. I didn't like being in the dentist chair, and I was afraid. And so the emotion, because he was going to do some drilling, he was going to do a filling or pull a tooth or whatever he was up to that day. And I remember I was about 8 or 9, and I was walking around the house. I had to go in about an hour, and I was full of fear, anticipatory emotion. And because every time I'd gone to the dentist, my past data was that it was not a fun experience for me. So my past data was creating my truth, which was producing my thought about it. This is not going to be fun, which was resulting in emotion called, oh, apprehension and fear, which produced an experience called, I don't want to do this, which resulted in a reality around the dentist, which had nothing to do with the event. My dad said to me, "What's the matter, son? You look, I said, well, I got a dentist appointment this afternoon. He said, I know. I said, well, I'm scared. And my dad said, nothing to be afraid of. I said, yeah, well, you weren't in a dentist chair last month. I was. And he said, no. And anyway, the short of this story is he talked me out of that emotion. He said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Forget about it. It's going to be just fine. He said, I promise you it's going to be okay. And my father had such a high level of veracity, authority in my life that I believed him. I was 8 or 9. I thought, well, maybe he knows something I don't know here. So I went to the dentist with a whole different emotion. I was able at the age of 8.5 to actually select a different emotion. In this case, because my father encouraged me to. Now I'm much older than 8.5, and I have to encourage myself. But I can encourage myself. I have encouraged myself. And by the way, I've used, in my case, the lessons that my father and mother gave me when I was a child many, many times to bring myself to a new reality. So I have found that it's possible to arbitrarily change your emotion about anything. It's also possible to arbitrarily change your truth about anything. All you have to do is know how the mechanics of the mind work and what the system of the soul brings you, that conjointly they give you the equipment to fundamentally shift your reality around any event, past or present. These are important tips. These are really, really big clues on how to live your life as God. When you understand and utilize what I've been sharing with you here, you'll find your whole life shifting and changing. You'll learn how to bridge the gap between the mind and the soul, which I want to talk about now here in these last few moments that we're together. Because of course, none of this is possible if your soul and your mind are separated. If you're living your life as essentially a single-minded person who doesn't pay a whole lot of attention or doesn't know how to pay a whole lot of attention to the soul and what the soul's wisdom would add to the mind's data in such a way that our truth changes. We elevate our truth from the imagined truth to the apparent truth, hopefully to the actual truth, and we produce a whole different thought, an entirely different emotion, a completely different experience, and the reality for which we have longed with regard to our lives and any event in it. So how to get to the wisdom of the soul? Stop. Stop your mind. Stop your mind from running its endless game. It's a good game. It means well. Your mind is not your enemy. Your mind is your best friend. Its job is to ensure your survival so that you can do what the totality of you came here to do. You are a three-part being, as we've taught now, body, mind, and soul. And that totality, that body, mind, soul triumvirate, which I call the totality of your being, has come here to the physical realm to do a particular thing, to experience and to express, to announce and to declare, to become and to fulfill the next grandest version of the greatest vision ever it held about who it is, ever you held about who you are. That's what you're here to do. That's what you're up to. In order for us to do that, we have to just slow down the mind. Not get rid of it, not abandon it, not step outside of it, but use the mind at a different rate of speed. So for me, what that looks like is just stopping. Breathing in through my mouth. And out. Slowly. Breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. For a count of 10 sometimes. To give my soul a chance to get in there. To give my mind a chance to use itself as a doorway, to throw open the doorway to the soul. So that the mind can talk to the soul and say to the soul, show me everything you know about this event. And so the mind can move to a place of pure beingness, so that the totality of who you are can move to a place of being who you are, right here, right now. And who are you? Who are you right here, right now? Ah, that's something you have to decide. See, you are nothing until you decide who you are. I don't want to leave you with an idea that somehow who you are is going to descend upon you, that God is going to, throw glitter dust on you, and suddenly who you are is going to show up. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Who you are is who you say you are. And so, in that moment of stopping the mind that wants to tell us who we are, we decide, using the mind, but at a different rate of speed, in a different way. And so the mind says to itself, I am, and then whatever you decide. I am peace. Is that what you want? I am clarity. Is that what you want? I am forgiveness. I am love. I am understanding. I am all of the above. See, whatever you decide. But it's an active choice. And we decide in that active moment, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm that. I'm not confusion, I'm clarity. I'm not anger, I'm love. I'm not resentment, I'm forgiveness. I'm not complexity, I'm simplicity. And we can choose. We can arbitrarily choose. When you learn to do that, when you train yourself to do that, it becomes a process that you can instigate and that you can move through very quickly sometimes, in just a blink of an eye. Here I am thinking about what happened when I was 6, when my father died when I was 9, or when, it was something terrible happened when I was 12, or what happened just today, or what's happening even right now, This works with an event, past or present. We contemplate the event, and we take a moment. Who am I? With regard to this event. Who am I and who do I choose to be? And then we lay claim to that. And as we claim it, we then become silent. And the soul whispers its wisdom. And the whispered wisdom of the soul informs the mind, enlarging its data about any particular event, past or present. which elevates your truth to the actual truth, which transforms your thought, which changes your emotion, which produces a new experience, which results in the reality that you choose to create. That's how life works from the perspective of the soul. And wait till the next lesson, because in the next lesson, we'll talk about how to come to completion with all that you've experienced in your life thus far, so that you can step more fully into your life